Welcome back. Today, we're going to unpack something that literally runs right through the walls and floors of every single modern business, yet it's something almost no one thinks about strategically until something goes terribly wrong. We're talking about the hidden impact of cable management, specifically how to take your network infrastructure from absolute chaos to streamlined efficiency. Over the next few minutes, we're going to draw on some fantastic, expert data sourced directly from an article by New Tech Cabling to really break down the crucial business impact of organizing your physical workspace.
But before we get into the hard data, I want you to ask yourself a question. What's hiding under your desk right now? Seriously, mentally picture the space beneath your workstation, or maybe your office's main IT closet. If you're like the vast majority of the workforce, you're probably picturing a chaotic, tangled web of power cords and Ethernet cables. Well, this explainer is going to show you why that mess isn't just a minor visual annoyance. It is actually an active, hidden drain on your company's resources that limits scalability and introduces a whole lot of unnecessary liability.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just to make sure we're starting on a rock-solid foundation, let's define exactly what we're talking about. Cable management is the process of organizing, securing, and maintaining cables to prevent clutter, reduce accidents, and improve overall system functionality. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's just tying cables together with some zip ties, right? Not exactly. The key words here are securing, maintaining, and functionality. It's a deliberate, ongoing system. And as our source material clearly outlines, executing this process well is absolutely vital for keeping the modern, interconnected workplace running at peak capacity. To really understand the true scope of this, we're going to explore the topic in 3 layers. First, the visible. Next, the operational. And finally, the technological. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the visible, which covers safety, aesthetics, and compliance.
The physical hazards of poor cabling are stark, and they are immediate. First up, we have tripping accidents in high-foot traffic areas. This isn't just an inconvenience, folks. It is a massive liability. A single loose cable across a walkway can cause a really serious injury. Then there are the exposed cables that actually lead to electrical fire risks. When wires are tangled up, stepped on, or just left unprotected, that insulation wears down fast. And finally, non-compliance fines. A lot of industries have incredibly strict standards and regulations for electrical and network installations. Our source highlights that ignoring these rules doesn't just put your staff at physical risk, it puts the business at heavy legal and financial risk when those industry standards are violated.
And beyond basic safety, there's the immediate aesthetic impact. Tangled cables project a complete lack of attention to detail, while clean systems reflect a real commitment to efficiency and high professional standards. Imagine a potential investor, a VIP partner, or a huge new client walking into your facility for the very first time. If the first thing they see is a rat's nest of wiring spilling out from behind the reception desk, it subconsciously signals disorganization. First impressions matter immensely in business, and a clean environment visually proves that you care about the details. Moving right along to Section 2, the operational, productivity, maintenance, and downtime. Now, what's really interesting here is how a disorganized setup leads directly to confusion, delayed maintenance, and completely unnecessary downtime. Picture an IT technician trying to fix a critical network issue while your whole office is offline. If they have to spend 30 minutes just untangling and tracing a single wire to its source, well, that's 30 minutes your entire team isn't working. Now contrast that with a managed setup. Cables are labeled, they're routed logically, they're color-coded. This means super easy troubleshooting, significantly faster repairs, and seamless upgrades when it's time to add new equipment. Basically, it transforms a crisis into a minor, easily solvable hiccup. Which brings us to an incredibly essential quote from our source material. In a business environment, time is money. It's a cliche for sure, but it is absolutely true, and it sharply raises the stakes of what we're discussing. Faster troubleshooting isn't just a nice little perk for your IT department so they can get back to their coffee. It is a fundamental requirement for maintaining your company's bottom line. Consider the number 1. Let's use this to represent 1 single minute of network downtime. Every single minute lost to a hardware failure or maybe an accidental disconnection because someone kicked a wire under their desk, every minute costs substantial revenue. When operations completely halt because of a totally preventable cabling issue, your operational costs just go through the roof. Effective management mitigates that risk entirely.
Let's dig deeper into Section 3, the technological, equipment life, airflow, and scalability.
Let's see how this builds, because there's a direct cause and effect chain that happens inside a poorly managed server room. Step 1,
messy cables. When thick bundles of wires are jumbled up and shoved into a server rack, they create a literal physical wall. And that leads directly to step 2, obstructed airflow. The internal fans in your servers just can't push the hot air out and pull the cool air in. That inevitably triggers step 3, overheating. And finally, the worst-case scenario, step 4, equipment failure. By neglecting simple, basic cable organization, businesses are dramatically shortening the lifespan of their high-end network equipment, literally turning a $1,000 server into a paperweight.
And you know, it's not just about protecting the gear you currently have. It's about preparing for what's next. Scalable cable management uses modular organization so you can easily add new connections without requiring a complete network overhaul. As your business grows, as you add new workstations, upgrade your tech, or expand your floor plan, future-proofing through proper organization allows for incredibly smooth, seamless technological expansion. Trust me, you do not want your company's growth delayed simply because your server rack is too tangled to accept a new network switch.
Which brings us to our final takeaway in Section 4, viewing this as a strategic network investment.
If we summarize the insights from the source text, the value proposition falls pretty neatly into our 3 distinct buckets. Under the visible, we secure improved safety, aesthetic professional appeal, and vital industry compliance. Moving to the operational, we gain enhanced productivity, infinitely easier maintenance, and crucially, reduced downtime costs. And finally, under the technological, we ensure extended equipment life, improved airflow, and that all-important future-proof scalability. When you lay it all out together like this, the value proposition is just undeniable.
So, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over today. Is your business network actually wired for seamless growth, or is it secretly tangled up in hidden costs? Take a really hard look at your workspace infrastructure today, from the desk setups right down to the main IT closet. You might just find that optimizing those hidden cables is the absolute easiest, most effective way to unlock a whole new level of operational efficiency. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep analyzing, keep optimizing, and we'll see you next time.